The presenting sponsor of Upmarket is Aereo, the best place to grow and manage your real estate media business online at aereo.com. That's ARYEO.com. Coming to you from the Upmarket Studios South Point in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Upmarket, a podcast about the business of real estate photography and media. My name is Reed Fish. I'm the CEO, the co-founder of Upmarket Media. And man alive, am I happy to have Mark Corcoran, the COO, another co-founder, sitting in the comfy chair in my
got the little throne here. I'm back behind the mic. Life is good.
Oh man! And you know, Mark and I drove out yesterday from Ventura County out to Las Vegas, and man, third PMRE in a row.
Yeah, we're hitting our stride. I think, man, we're just loving this place.
Oh yeah, so much fun. Although, let's be honest, there's some sadness that we all have to work through right now because producer Chelsea back home. Womaning the
keeping it going.
Controls.
We're busy right now.
Yeah,
Man.
18 houses we're shooting this week, and which is crazy. Usually this time of year we're not doing that much, and as we will get into in a future episode soon, which I know, and I apologize for the lack of episodes lately. There's just been a lot going on. We'll get into what's been going on in the next episode, but we're a little short staffed now, and so it's a little stressful for us this year. Actually, we only have 2 shooters out there, and one of them's pretty green, and anyway, it's we'll get into all that on a later episode.
But everything's good, and Chelsea's holding it down.
Yeah,
and her fan club is very disappointed. People have been asking for Chelsea. Where's Chelsea? You guys didn't bring Chelsea.
But we have a breath of fresh air this year for us because we have a bigger team than we even than you hear on the pod because and I give her a shout out at the end of every single episode. But here with us in studio is our editor Bethany Deidrich is here all the way from Iowa, somewhere in Iowa.
Deep in the cornfields.
Right. And so Bethany, hello. How are you?
Hi guys. I'm doing great. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
So happy to be here. Yes, I am a child of the corn.
Yeah, a child of the corn. All right. We are so excited for you to be in the room. Bethany, one of our favorite people in the real estate media world. And Bethany, we actually have something extra special planned for this year. We are going to have you out there in the field at the conference as a roving reporter doing fun video content.
Coming to you live.
Yes. That mic that you're holding, we have a fun, if you're watching on YouTube, we have a fun little mic, like a news mic with our logo on it. And Bethany's like talking into it, but there's no microphone in it right now. So,
no, not yet. There will be this evening, at least if I remember. So yes, I just have to remember to put the microphone
that
in.
Would be good. That's why we're paying you the big bucks, Bethany. Yeah.
You brought your husband in, right? He's going to be assisting behind
Andre's
camera.
going to be behind the camera this time. I'm the one usually behind the camera. I'll be in front of it. We're going to be having some fun. This is not going to be your typical interview. We're going to be doing some hot takes, some hot mic.
I'm just hoping that you have a couple cocktails in you and that Andre does too.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Just depends on how things go. But be ready to be pulled aside and asked about all kinds of things.
Okay, I'm not going to be ready because I'm not going to do it. So I was saying earlier, we are excited to have you doing this because that means that Mark and I don't have to do it, which is really the key. We're all about delegating at Upmarket Media.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
But this episode of our podcast is a repeat of last year because it was one of our most popular and I think most informative episodes. And for us, probably the most fun episode we do all year. It's our PMRE Action Item Spectacular, where we're going to be pulling a bunch of the attendees of the conference. And everyone coming to this conference is a real estate media professional or services our industry, and they know a lot of stuff. And so there's so much wisdom to be had. And and it kind of goes back to one of the best things about being at the conference is the networking that you do. And so we're going to be able to bring some of that networking to you because it's those little tidbits that you learn in those conversations that you just are having at the bar, or walking to the show or whatever. It's like those are the things that really help us out. So we're just gonna have an episode full of action items. And Bethany, will you start with one for us?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Mine's pretty simple.
Oh, I love simple.
But it's going to be dramatic. Which,
good.
Big
simple
surprise.
but dramatic.
Don't offer discounts.
Whoa.
Hard stop.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, hot take.
A little bit of hot take, especially if you're new in the industry.
Or because how are you going to get business if you don't offer discounts?
Exactly. Yeah. Perhaps you've been doing it part-time and you still had a full-time job and you decided to take the leap. And now you have this gap of this income that you've got to make up, how am I going to do that? And while that's not, there might be a little asterisk there with, no discounts, because obviously there's people who bundle their packages.
That came to me is like, do you consider like if, a la carte, it's going to be, $1,200, but if you bundle all these, it's,
definitely
$1,000.
Appeal there. And obviously too, it's up to discretion, but know your worth. And when I say that, it's easy for me to just say, know your worth, because it's hard for us as creatives, especially, to assign a proper value to our worth, because we have to look at it as not only the time that we invest, but also the experience, the investment that we've made also in ourselves and our equipment and everything that we're doing in order to grow and scale our business eventually, maybe in the future.
Are you saying this like out of experience? You offered discounts and you got in trouble?
I did. So when you offer discount, especially like I used to offer first time discounts, like 10% off first time discounts. And then, I started getting more business. You start getting referrals and people start coming to you more for their listings, or they switch over to you completely. There's that relationship established there. And, you start to get more busy. And so I started looking at it like, okay, why am I still offering a discount for first timers? I mean, I don't need to anymore.
Right. Well, I feel like one of the biggest drawbacks of it can be is that it sets expectations.
Yeah.
And, and then it's, well, why I got 10% off last time. Why can't I do it this time? Yeah. I'm a good client. And it always feels weird too, with offering that first time discount, is you're like, well, actually the people who are super loyal to us and have done 50 shoots, we don't offer them a discount on anything.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're going to go Joe Schmo who, and give them a big discount. But
yeah, that's a good point.
But what we've been doing lately is, we don't do a percentage discount, but we have been teasing people with like, on your first photo shoot, we'll give you free aerials, right? And so that's what whenever we do brokerage presentations, we give them a coupon code and, hey, come in and do the free aerials. But I feel like this is a little bit different than a discount. It's like, I think, Mark, you put it at one point that it was like a free add-on or something.
Yeah, it's just an add-on. Sure. You're already getting paid for the shoot. It's not like you're showing up at 50% or something.
Yeah.
Right. And if we're giving out a discount, it sets that expectation where all of a sudden someone's thinking, okay, well, maybe if they're giving me a discount on this, then I can ask for a discount for something else.
And they get a number stuck in their head, right? And that's what they think it's going to be.
The worst thing that could happen, and this is something I've learned even more recently, because I have a hard time saying no, and it's part of setting a boundary as well with your clients, because what's the worst thing that could happen if you say no? They go work with someone else, they've seen your work. There's a reason they've come to you.
Yeah.
So, some people have just found, typed in real estate photographers in Quad Cities and they find me and they call me.
Yeah.
But most of them, especially if they are a referral, and I always ask too, because if they are a referral, then obviously there's a reason they've come to you. They've been recommended to you. So if you decide to give them a discount right off of the bat, it's just lost income for you.
Right.
Yeah, they're already sold on your services.
They're already sold on your services. You don't need to.
And people are scared, right? Because they're like, well, I could charge them full price and it's $500, or I can give them 10% off and it's $450, but I'd rather, get the job at $450 than not get the job at $500, right? I mean, and it ends up being a scarcity mindset, right? And especially when you're, and this really comes into play when you have $300 in your bank account and you're just starting your business and you're like, well, yeah, I need that $450, so I'll do it. And I think that's when we've all gotten into that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You only want to pay that much.
I'll take anything.
I'll do it. Sure. And even when we're slow, I think there's moments where, you have realtors trying to negotiate and you're like, well, I just, it's better than nothing. And the marginal cost of it. And that's why we decided, instead of like giving a discount, that we would do the free aerials, because it doesn't cost us anything. It's, 10 extra minutes for our staff on site. And then, it's like 10 photos to the editors. It's like,
super minimal.
And so it's a good way to, kind of add that on and not at not any cost to us.
Yeah. And I'd rather surprise my clients with something extra that they didn't expect. Like, some detail shots at a house that was really cool.
Right.
Something that they, but not necessarily give it to them every time because then they'll come to expect it.
But that can, we've had that too, where, the expectations are, we had one client recently who was so mad at us because we didn't include drone shots of the beach, and the listing was like a couple miles away, and you would have to, and I was like, well, you expected us to fly down there, or maybe it was only a mile away, but you had to cross the 101.
Well, can't your drone fly that far?
Well, you can, but you have to fly over the 101 freeway, and we're just like, no, you're insane. I don't even understand what you're talking. This is not a beach listing.
It was based on a previous, last time I so-and-so, and
Yeah. Last time Mark went and took special pictures, and I'm like, well, actually he didn't. Those were just things we have in our archive for those neighborhoods, and we just gave them to you. But, but you can't burn it. And we also, even with the free aerial add-on, we had a client who then had aerials the next time. I was like, wait, why is you charging me $185 for these? And then was like, oh, they're not free every time? Yeah, no. And I don't know if he'll come back and use this, because I think he's price sensitive. But you know what? Then he's not the client for us.
I had a real estate. This isn't related to discounts per se, but I had an agent that expected me to fly my drone through a house because he thought that's how I got my videos.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, of course.
And I'm just, we showed up I showed up to the shoot, and I pull out my drone, and he's just like, okay, so are you gonna be able to follow me like through the house? And I'm like, do you not?
Yeah.
Like, people think the gimbal is the drone, right? They don't realize.
You do how many million a year?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, we can have many podcast episodes about how stupid real estate agents are. So
that's actually one of the questions that I'm going to be asking people. I'm not asking everybody the same question.
Okay, good.
But one of them is going to be, what is the stupidest thing an agent has ever said to you?
Yeah, that's going to...
It's a treasure trove.
Yes, a treasure trove.
I'm really excited to hear people's responses to that.
Nice.
All right. Well, Bethany, thank you so much. We're so excited to hang out with you for a few days out here. And we are ready. Get ready. We have a ton of action items coming up in this show. Oh, my God. Get ready to learn, people.
Thanks, Bethany.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Next up is Chris White, the product marketing manager.
Correct.
Yeah, at iGuide. Chris, hit us with an action item. I want a good one.
Okay, that's a lot of pressure. When I was a residential real estate photographer, I found that something really worked for me. So this was before I worked for iGuide. I did work with iGuide at that time, but this was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. And I don't think this is any different now.
Okay.
So what I found worked for me was the sort of hook of having really solid, information combined with what I would say is, really solid quality photos. So what I mean by that is that it wasn't enough in my market anyway to just have really amazing photos. What really helped me grow was having something a bit hooky. So for me, that was floor plans and a 3D tour. And the combination of that plus really great photos helped me win a lot of business. It helped me break a lot of existing relationships,
right?
With someone's guy, and it helped get me in the door. So what got me in the door was floor plans, a 3D tour, and photos. But what kept me there was the good photos. So my piece of advice is combine some piece of important information or technology with really rock solid photos, and it's a winning combination.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If your baseline is like you have great photos, and then all the other stuff is like, I think we feel that all the time too. It's like, and I think you can go so far as even with video. I mean, it's like once you start adding video, and I mean, as we've moved and as you're evidenced by this, by the last year this conference changed its name from photography for real estate, and it's now photography and media for real estate. So that really is an indicator of where this industry is going, and I think you're just like finding fewer and fewer people who are just doing photos. I mean, they're out there still, but
it's not like you have to be a one-stop shop and do everything. Yeah. You can if you want. That's
we
totally
do.
fine.
We try to be. I mean, that's kind of one of the benefits of us coming together and multiplying our services and just like being able to offer that as a team. It's just like you can be that one phone call and one-stop shop.
Yeah. I find that it's like a recipe. The combination of things is what really can help you, excel in your market. But it depends. I guess every market's a little different.
Right. And then obviously, so you probably offered iGuide as the floor plan and I
did. It was a killer deal. Like back in 2016, I was offering like floor plans, a 3D tour, and really, really good photos. pat myself on the back.
Yeah, I'm sure they were amazing. I mean,
Do they still hold up or no?
Well, no. But for like maybe $300, and I could get them to the next day, and people were like, "Oh my God, why would I hire anybody else?" I'm like, "I don't know, don't."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's that combination of everything. So if you just have one thing, you can do it well. I mean, you can probably do okay, but to really break through, you're gonna need all the stuff. All right, Chris. Thank you so much. That was great. Of course, our pleasure. Thanks for coming on. All right, next up, we got Michele Sheiko from Annapolis, Maryland with Chesapeake Home Images. Michele, come on, give me an action item. What do you got?
I look at a house as if it's a face or a bunch of faces. I used to shoot weddings, and so when I come up to a house and I see all these windows closed, the blinds, shutters, it's not welcoming to me. So my big thing is they've got to be open. Invite me in. So that's the key thing. Open your window, have your clients, their home sellers open their windows, open their blinds, let the light in, welcome people, and that will help you with your hero shot.
Okay, so we're opening the blinds. So okay, here's actually, I have a little question on this. Because and Mark, I don't know, you face this. You have the Venetian blinds, right? And I usually just open them, but then sometimes the agent's like, well, should we just pull them up? And then I'm like, and that happens a lot in vacant houses where it's just the Venetian blinds, and then I'm torn between. I kind of prefer it where you just have them down and open, but then some agents want to pull them up, and I think that looks a little sloppy. What do you think?
Well, no, I agree. It does look sloppy, but if you, for instance, some won't even go up. What I try to do is aim for consistency, balance, symmetry.
Yeah.
And if you look at past images that you've taken with all the windows closed, and then you look at a couple, you yourself, your mindset is just open to a whole new vision of what this house could look like and how great your picture can be just by opening.
Yeah. Look, we got to open our minds, open our hearts, open our windows.
Open our blinds.
Open our blinds. Yeah. Opening those blind spots.
I mean, I think agents get that we need to open them when you're inside, but I find if you shoot the interior and they're like, oh, you're all set, and they start shutting it down, you haven't got to the outside yet. It's like, well, you need those open for the outside. That's what you're saying, right?
Well,
so from the outside in.
Oh, yeah.
Ideally, you're going to time your exteriors based on how the sun is moving around the house. You just kind of plan that.
In the ideal world,
and I'm one of those people, if I want to be in a house by myself because you're going to get the best pictures. But if not, they have to be elsewhere. And nothing gets closed down till I'm done.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I always joke with my clients, but they kind of take me seriously, is that, hey, you're going to bring people in while I'm here? I get to charge you per head.
Oh, nice.
Nice. I love that. That's good. Anything we can do to get homeowners away. But I do like that because one of the things that I think we run into, and then, we run into it with our staff, and, it's always hard as you're scaling to kind of have these things that we just know intrinsically and we try to do. It's this classic, like, oh, the agent's running 15 minutes late or 10 minutes late. Why don't you just get started on the exterior? Well, usually you go there, and even if it's a vacant home, the blinds are all shut, and it, and it can make the house look like closed down and not inviting, right? And so,
right, but I've been doing this 20 years, and some of my clients I've had over 20 years, and the relationship I have with them, and I provide more of a service. I'm actually in direct contact with the home sellers, and sometimes I'll even go by ahead of time. But I'm also getting it's part of my pricing.
You're like a little scouting trip to check out the location and figure out the time of day.
Make them feel comfortable what the expectations are. I joke, I'm not special, I'm spatial. I want to pay attention to what I'm shooting and go from there. So,
wow.
That's a pretty high level of service.
Yeah, exactly. That's more than I can provide. Yeah.
I do my best.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Michele, thank you so much. What a pleasure to have you on.
Well, it's nice being here with you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, come on. We got Brett Gettman, Lauren Gettman here of Red Hog Media out at, where the hell are you guys out of? Gilbert, Arizona.
Gilbert, Arizona is home base, but we started in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Okay. All right. That's a story for another day. My God.
Another day.
Okay. So Brett, hit me with an action item. I want to hear it.
You have to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you're not running a business.
Okay. So like what numbers in particular?
Profitability. So you can raise your rates, but if you don't know exactly how much profit you're making off of each shoot, and I assume everybody has different packages and tier structure to pricing. So you need to know where your profit is on every shoot. Otherwise, you're not running a business. You could be running a Ponzi scheme. You could have a lost leader and you don't even know it.
Right. Well, and I think it just, you know, I, in the beginning of our business, I feel like I just kind of ballparked it. I was like, well, I don't know.
We did the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If I charge $200, man, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Wow. I must be making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I wasn't factoring in my time. I wasn't factoring in anything else. Right. So,
Well, and if you don't know your numbers, you can't scale. We did that.
Yeah.
We made the mistake. We scaled, and we did a W-2 employee method, then we did a contractor method, and we were upside down on some shoots and didn't even know it.
oh, jeez.
And not painfully bad, but then you can take, okay, if I'm making X amount of dollars on my smallest package,
Right.
it really puts in perspective, okay, do I have to do 50 of those every month to equal just 5 of these?
Right.
So it really helps you now, because look, we're here to make money.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if we're not knowing our numbers, then we don't know where we're making money.
Yeah, like maybe your video is your most profitable product, right? But if
Oh,
you're
I've
not
been
really
saying
running
that
your
for
numbers,
years,
then,
that you need to push a record button if you really want to make good money in this industry. But even with your photography and your cheap packages.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good one. I mean, pretty basic, but I think pretty important. So, Lauren, I mean, you're going to have a better one than that, though, right? I think.
yeah, you got to up
No
them. Come on.
pressure.
Yeah.
My action item would be to have systems in place. So from when a client books a shoot, what happens to when you do the shoot, what happens next? How are your photos getting uploaded? Who's looking at your photos? How are they getting uploaded into your delivery system? Videos, how are those getting delivered? And so the reason why I'm so particular about systems is what happens if you get hit by a bus?
Yeah.
Who's going to know what to do?
Right.
And having all that in writing is super important.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that franchise mentality, right? Of having all your like standard operating procedures all laid out for certain
even
things.
a single photographer needs to have that laid out because, you know, if they're married or whatever, if they're, you know, something can happen. So.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Mark and I were driving out yesterday, and he's like, I don't know, should we be driving together? What if we got in a horrific car crash?
Yeah.
What would happen to the business? I was like, it's closed.
A lot of companies actually do.
Our wives would take the life insurance policies that we, you know, because we have personal ones and ones of the business, and then they'd just, you know, not have to work and be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then our employees would lose their jobs.
That's why the president and the vice president don't
exactly.
travel
I know.
together.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I'm like, should we be in the same vehicle? Is this smart?
You know, it's all right. We made it. So we
did.
We're okay.
Yeah.
We drove with bare feet and we survived. So it's all good.
It would be poetic justice, though, if we died on the way home.
Let's not go there.
Thanks for that thought. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Those are 2 great ones. And we're excited to be at PMRE with you guys.
Yeah,
Awesome.
looking
Thank
forward
you.
to it.
All
Thanks
right.
for coming on, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, man. Mark. We got Rob Rijnen here from Central Coast Media and Marketing. Rob, come on. What's your action item?
My action item, if you don't mind, I actually have 2. And you know, that's what always happens, right? So the 2 that made a really big change in my career, so to say, is when I was working by myself and editing, you know, until late in the evening, and we all know the story. So get an editor. That's one.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
And the other one was what made a big change is to have some kind of platform for scheduling payments. So whether it's HD Photo Hub or Aereo or whatever it is, one of those. So those 2 made an enormous change in my
workflow. And my take on that is that sometimes those seem so basic to us, but it's worth repeating for people who haven't done it. That that's like, hey, that's scaling 101, or just like work-life balance 101.
Yeah, those are the first baby steps, right? That you really can change your life.
Yeah, and that's really when you asked me about action step, I thought about it for a little bit, and I thought, what has really made the biggest change, except for the other one that is,
we'll talk about it in a sec.
We'll talk about it in a sec, but this, I had little kids, and Mark's story is very similar to mine. You know exactly what it's like to be able to, put your kids to bed rather than sitting behind your computer editing. I mean,
big time, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then now we got, look, this is a 2-for-1 deal here. We got Garrett Goodman, also of Central Coast Media and Marketing. So Garrett, hit us. baby?
My action item is actually sort of an anti-action item.
Oh, all right.
And that it is one of the biggest things that I had to get myself to do in the beginning of the merging process or the scaling process, I should say. It was letting go.
There you go.
Not being so tied up into every detail, especially when it comes to necessarily maybe quality of the photos or things along those lines. You just kind of have to let go, especially if you're taking other photographers working with you and stuff. You can't be spending every moment trying to get every photo to be a 5-star photo necessarily. That 80-20 rule really, I had to ingrain that into myself.
That was a big one for us, for sure.
A big one.
Yeah, I did a whole hour talk at PMRE last year about that. Let go, man. Be like Frozen.
On so many levels, though, right? I mean, it's life changing again.
Yeah. Well, and so I think the biggest thing that you guys let go on, and so you guys are just up the road from just up the road, but a few hours up.
California neighbors.
Yeah. So you're a couple counties up on the Central Coast, and and sometimes we get business up there, and we were looking to refer people out, and then we started talking to you guys because I think we had Garrett, we met at PMRE last year.
I met you guys here last year. Put myself on your mailing list, and you were like, you're close. Write that down. Sometimes we need photographers up there,
and then we were kind of in a way maybe looking for a partnership somewhere, but then we called you up and you're like, well, it's funny, you call me because I've been listening to your podcast, and I think I'm going to merge with my biggest competitor in town.
Some crazy Dutch guy.
Yeah. And so therefore it sounds like it just came to fruition a month ago. You guys merged your individual businesses to become Central Coast Media and Marketing.
After almost a year now of working on it, working out all the details and how it's going to look and everything. We finally are incorporated and launching our new business.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, super excited for you guys.
We're thrilled. And we had, it took so long also because several other things were happening kind of at the same time. For one, Garrett got married 3 weeks ago. And there were other things happening as well, and summer break and all that. Yeah. So, it spread out a little bit. We want to do it a little bit faster, but, at least we're here now. Feeling great about it.
You got to do it right rather than do it quick.
Exactly.
We did it a little quick, but, we did it right, I think. So I guess it's a little early in the process, but do you feel, I know for me, like when I started working with Mark, I just felt relief, right? Like, it's just like you have that other person to have, Rob, that Garrett has your back and vice versa, right?
Someone to lean on, someone to hold you accountable. And also someone to, take the other side of the business and allow you guys to grow is the biggest thing.
Yeah. Someone to commiserate with.
Exactly. We've been meeting basically weekly since February.
Yeah.
And sometimes just for an hour or sometimes even less because we had a photo shoot to go to. Sometimes it was several hours, lunch together and all that stuff. And just to have that camaraderie and to talk together about, okay, what are the next steps? And sometimes it was just about, the photo shoot that's going to happen that afternoon. And just to have that together already is in a way already that relief you're talking about, that you're doing this together.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations, guys, and
thanks
for coming in and doing some action items, and we're looking forward to throwing some business your way because we get those, those referrals.
Sounds good.
And it comes, if you guys need stuff in Ventura,
exactly,
absolutely.
And thanks again for the inspiration.
Oh, you got, of course.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Well, we'll talk to you in a year and see how it's going.
I might not have had the courage to reach out to Rob if it wasn't for you guys' podcast.
All right, awesome, and that's great to hear.
Really cool.
And you were the reason I came to the conference last year as well. One of the big ones, maybe not the only one, but one of the big reasons I wanted to come.
Oh, awesome.
Before I, broach the subject with Rob. So,
Oh, it's all, well,
super cool. Full circle, man.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
good to hear. All right, man. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, Mark, we got Herb Dierks here. Herb is he's the founder, CEO of HD Photo Hub. Herb, hit us with an action. Oh, you're a guy who's got a ton of action items. Let's give us a hot one right now.
Yeah, it's tough to pick just one, but I would say in the market that we're in right now, the big thing that I would say to focus on is paying real close attention to the bedside manner in the home. So, So like when you're in a home and you're extending the agent's brand into that space, you really want to be thinking about what the homeowner's experience is like, and thinking about things like, making sure you're putting on booties or whatever's appropriate for your area. But also just being very personable, being, lots of smiles and that type of thing. I think that's one of the most just underappreciated opportunities because you're there anyway. It costs you nothing in time and effort. Of course, it's always more efficient and better if the homeowner isn't present. But
that was going to be my first. People might remember me at PMRE last year talking about my band homeowners spiel, but
for
of course, the reality is it's just not the case.
Yeah, exactly. And you're entering into like a situation with them that's one of the most stressful situations of their life, right? Well, you show up and they're exhausted and they're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, and especially in this market, right? Nobody's selling because they want to. They're selling because they have to. And so there's a lot of,
that's a good point.
A lot of emotion interjected right now. And agents are not doing that many transactions. They don't do that many a year anyway. So, man, if you make them look bad, you're done.
We have firsthand experience with this. I mean, look, I think Mark and I built our businesses, before we merged together by being that. We all know how personal I am. and Mark is the actual nice one.
Yeah, it's more than a photo shoot. It's an experience and a relationship and everything else. Yeah.
And if you're gonna charge premium prices, you need to deliver a premium experience.
Absolutely. And so we had an employee who was not giving that experience to our homeowners and to the realtors the feedback was like, it would be nice if you sent someone who wanted to be there. And we're like,
that's the worst. And it was more than once, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And so we really had to really hammer that home. And then now he doesn't work for us anymore. But,
well, that was going to be my follow-up is that if you have a team, if you have people working for you, you can't assume that they bring the same level of charisma to the table.
And they're not. They're mostly not because they're an employee. They just don't care in the same way.
That's right. That's right.
They just can't.
So if you really want to go over and above, one really fun thing that you can do too is if there's a homeowner there, ask them the next time they see the agent to say, to make a comment, just say, look, it really helped me out. If you would just mention to the agent that I did a good job and that I was doing well here. And man, if they'll do that, then the ones that do you got a customer for life out of that agent. It's great for loyalty.
It's when your Lyft driver is like, hey, would you give me 5 stars?
Right. People are kind of used to that
you're
now.
asking
it's like
for
a tip,
review.
right?
Yeah, you're asking for a review.
Yeah, and we love that as employers when it's like, oh, so-and-so is just wonderful. And we love, send her back again. She was great. And
100%.
That's awesome.
100%.
Yeah. Because there's definitely a roster of agents where you're like, well, they can't shoot for that person anymore. And so that's the pain in your ass. And then guess who has to go out and shoot? And guess who's bitter about it? And guess who, a few of our agents are on the list of Reed can't shoot for them anymore. So that's
Reed has his own list. Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Well, but that happens when and that's what we talk about so much on this podcast is having happiness in your work, having joy in your life, and when you're not and that's what happened to our employee. He just wasn't happy doing his work anymore.
Right.
And so when he's there and he's grumpy, and that's how I felt. Like I just didn't enjoy shooting anymore, and I was just grumpy. And
just kind of fake your way through 3 shoots in a day or whatever.
Yeah, you can fake it sometimes, but not all the time. And especially when it's a home where the homeowner isn't ready. And then clearly they're already going to be stressed. And then you're bringing more stress into that situation. So,
well, and in those situations where the stress is already super high, that actually is your greatest opportunity to make a difference, right?
Right.
Certainly don't pile on, but just giving that little bit of extra grace or that little bit of extra space, I think goes a long way.
Extra grace and space.
Beautiful.
That sums it up for Herb.
That was a good one, Herb.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking time out of it to come on.
Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, of course. All right. Okay, Mark, I was a little conflicted about this next guest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I feel like we've carved out a nice space for us in the podcast world. I'm pretty happy with where we are.
We have our space,
but we have our competitors, and do I want to lift those competitors up? Yes, I do. Here we have Rachael Ann Adkins, who is the co-host of Shooting the Shit with Rachael Ann and Neil Young. And right,
you got it right.
She's also she owns something called Focus Media Collective, and she posts a lot on Instagram because I follow her. And she's also the co-host of the Master Plan TV, and she has a ton of other stuff, and I can't even get into it. But Rachael, all I want from you is an action item.
All right, here we go.
You got one?
Yes, I do. And it's a good one, and it's about social media.
Okay.
And
that's your forte. I'm glad you're talking about that because I think you're good at it.
Yes. Well, we are here at PMRE, and it's all about connecting with people, making connections, right? Networking, meeting, growing our businesses, learning. And it's overwhelming when you're here because you meet so many people. And it's like, who did I meet?
Especially tonight, right? The first night, it's just like a swarm of people. Like, holy cow.
Yeah. So before I came, I went to PMRE on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
I clicked on their followers.
Okay.
And I went through and I followed a bunch of their followers.
Okay.
And for every 5 that I would follow, I'd go in on one account and I would like 3 to 5 of their posts.
Okay.
And I would comment on a few of their posts. And what that's doing is letting them know that someone is interested in what I'm doing. It's making them more interested in my account and they want to follow me back. So it's going to gain me followers.
Okay.
It's also going to connect me with a new person. Like I look and see what they're doing, right? I'm like, look at their bio. Look, are they serious about their business?
Yeah,
like, do I like their work?
That's very cynical, right? You're just like, oh, I'm going to go. Oh yeah. Oh, great photo. Great photo read. God, love that angle.
Yeah.
And you're just like, because you have it in cut and paste, but
it's not rude. It's not like,
It's not
it's
super
not like
hollow or
copy
transparent.
paste this comment. It's like, let me go through and legit
you have to be
see.
genuine, right?
Right,
So
right.
you're going to be commenting on people that you actually feel like, oh, wow, I actually do like what they're doing, right? Because you wanted any connection we make, you want it to be authentic, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if they are following PMRE, they might be here. And if
Well,
I
of
can
course.
connect with them when they're here, that just kind of put me out in front of them. So maybe we will actually connect and meet each other and we can learn something from each other.
So how are you doing this? Because you have so many different titles and companies. And are you doing this as your podcast or it's you or your media company or how are you?
I do it as the podcast.
As the
Okay.
podcast, yeah.
Because that
That's
makes
smart.
sense,
Well,
right?
because that's your audience here,
Well,
right?
and that's my audience. That's my target audience. So
Yeah.
there is some business strategy
of course.
behind it to get
Yeah.
more followers
Yeah.
and get more listeners. But I also want to learn from you guys. Like we want to expand our podcast just like you guys do and come up with new creative ideas that we can post on. Because we all know like after doing this for a year and a half, you start to feel like, okay, what else can we talk about? Like,
oh no, we have a list of like 100 things.
Oh,
I don't know.
stop it.
Yeah.
Endless topics. Yeah.
Sure,
endless,
you do.
endless topics.
Well, I really do love listening to you talk, and I'm sure you could talk all day long. But we're running out of ideas.
Yeah. Oh, you are. You are. Yeah. Well, it is hard. Well, and I feel like your power team series over the summer kind of stole my thunder a little bit because I was like, I kind of been thinking about something along those lines. Well, and the funny thing is like I see because you guys started, I feel like within like 2 or 3 weeks of us. So like we were like, I didn't know who you were. I didn't know anything. And we just kind of started at the same exact time, just kind of in the universe, just kind of happened. And some of your episodes have been like, well, I wanted to do that episode, and not that I think we can't, touch on the same topics, but it is kind of a I don't even think of it as a friendly rivalry, but I do look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, and I try, but then I'm like, well, I don't want to copy it, but I think it's okay
because there's crossover. There has to be
different takes. We all have different takes.
And the thing is, like, your power team is going to be different than my power team. Like the people that you have on your team are going to bring something.
I don't know what a power team is.
You have an accountant. You have a Chelsea.
Yes.
You have a business
We got a
partner.
bookkeeper, a tax person. We got all that
You've got
stuff,
all
right?
the people.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, well,
down.
power team. Yeah. Well, you just come up with like pithy names for them. It's I got my power team. I'm like, I don't know, this is people I work with.
You know where I got that power team name from?
I don't.
In 2018, I bought into real estate investing courses that were ridiculously expensive. I got sold.
Right.
But it was like the best thing I ever did for myself, for personal growth, for my investing future. And they talked about how we needed to build our power team.
Oh.
And they were like, build your power team. This is going to be your real estate agent that's going to help
I
you
have
find
heard that
deals.
in the investing world, actually.
Yes,
now that you say
and that's
that,
where it came from. And I was like, ooh, I like that. I'm going to use that. And I think you guys should do a series. Maybe we can talk and brainstorm creative ideas besides power team. Maybe you should invest in some like really expensive courses and then you'll have a good idea. You can snag from them.
Oh man.
Wait, don't you have a
That's a
course?
big maybe.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, but the problem with courses for me is I don't like learning things. It's like I'm full up on stuff. I mean, I don't need to.
You got it all dialed.
We're maxed out.
No, I do not have it dialed. But man, I see people doing the workshops the last couple of days. I'm like, I couldn't do that. I don't think I could sit there and do 8 hours. I don't know. My mental space is a little messed up right now, but and joking, of course I like learning things. We learn so much on this podcast. And that's like this episode, our PMRE action item spectacular is one of the episodes where we can learn so much.
We're always learning stuff. Yeah. And
So my
fun.
action item, I never actually got to the action item. I explained what I did before I came.
Oh, I thought that was
But
okay.
the
Yeah,
action
okay,
item
okay,
is like
great. Okay, good.
when you connect with someone on the floor at PMRE or at a networking event or you meet someone, go on your phone instantly and find their profile, follow them, and then send them a message, something that you will remember what your conversation was. So say like, hey, we had a conversation about chicks. Like I just got 5 chicks for my daughter for her birthday. So that's been a common theme, right? So maybe if someone had told me that story, I'd be like, hey, I really loved hearing your story about your chicks. Let's connect
Is that what you and
more.
Dom just talk about as chickens all day?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, now we're like best friends because we both have chickens.
Well-
I told him today, and he was like, "What?" He totally
you're one
lit
of
up.
us.
Well,
I bet.
what? Okay, but
New best
do you?
friends.
So, and I will say, let's. We're running a little long here, but that's okay. You know, it's a little podcast meeting here, but but I
Meeting of
do
the
feel
minds.
like so obviously, if someone is listening to this right now, they're probably gonna, if they're heeding your advice, even if they didn't connect with you at PMRE, maybe you're gonna give a follow out to Shooting the Shit. And you're going to see, and especially if you follow your Focus Media Collective and everything else, like you are like unbelievably active on social media. And like, I'm kind of like wondering how in the hell you do that.
So I have a social media manager that puts out 3 posts a week for me.
Okay, but
I have
you
not
post so
been
many
active.
more times than that though.
I have not
You're
been
doing
that
so many
active lately.
stories.
Yeah, I just do stories as I go throughout the day. Like clients will post a
Yeah,
listing
but you-
or a
okay,
reel,
but
and I
you-
just reshare it.
But you just do that as a throwaway. Oh, I just,
I'm on
just
social
as a
media
thing.
like 10 times a day.
yes,
or
I mean,
more.
clearly.
And when I see something that speaks to me that I think my audience might like, my brokers, I'm like, oh, this is motivational. People need to see this.
Right.
I will share it.
Right.
I'm just not shy. If I'm on the job and I see something, the first thing I'm thinking about is marketing. Like,
Right.
how can I share this with the world? Like, it is top of mind for me all the time is being on social media.
Right.
Like, it's just having that mindset of like, this is my number one way of marketing my business. And it's important.
And
for
you
me.
really feel like that works for you. I mean, is
Yes.
that the main driver of new business for you?
Yes.
So you have that mindset. You're on the prowl constantly. Like, what am I?
I mean, I'm not
what can I
like-
bring into like, or
I'm not
no?
like seeking it out, but when it like today, before we were doing this podcast, I was like, oh, I need to get my phone out and take a video clip of me walking in behind Reed and show their podcast setup. Now, when I get home and you post a video, I can screenshot our video and I can post a little behind the scenes
Wait,
of
I have
like,
to post a video?
no, I will.
Oh, okay.
Well, yes, you will.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Chelsea
posting-
We've
or
had
Mark
15
will.
people
Don't
walk
worry.
in
We're
and
not
you were the
gonna
only one that
make you
did
do
that,
anything
so.
you don't want to do. But anyway, it's just like that little behind the scenes clip I could use for social media.
Right.
So it's just having the mindset of like, oh, this is a good opportunity. Someone might be interested in what I'm doing. Like, this is kind of cool and different. Not everyone gets this opportunity to do these action items. You know, like I didn't get to last year and I was like, oh, that would have been cool. I didn't even know what was going on, you know?
Yeah,
and now
well, we
this
didn't
year,
tell you.
I know, because you were like, she's my competitor. We can't do that.
You were an
But this
unknown
year,
entity. Now
you
you're in
realize
part of
that
the
we can
circle.
play in the same pond. Yeah.
Well, we lost a player. You know, we lost Shooting Spaces, so
True.
you know they're out. So you know now.
What does that mean for us?
Oh man,
like- I mean, sky's the
wide
limit,
open,
boys.
baby.
Totally. I mean, geez.
But don't you feel like we have very different formats of podcasts? Like we really,
Yeah,
your
well,
guys'
but-
is very structured,
Pretty
which I
different, yeah.
like,
But-
and organized. And Neil and I are just like
Yeah.
two
Shooting the shit,
children
yeah,
with
it works.
ADD having fun. Yeah, we talk about business, but it's very
Yeah. Well, but you know, and that was the
getting
funny
more
thing is when your
structured. But it works.
podcast started up, I was like, because I thought our niche was going to be, well, Shooting Spaces was doing what they did. And then I was like, you know, and a lot of it was like, they have photographers on and be like, well, how'd you get into real estate photography? And you know, I don't even know what camera you're using.
Yeah,
all
how
that
do you
kind of
shoot
stuff.
this and how do you shoot that?
Yeah. And like, I thought, well, our angle, because we didn't want to do that because they do it. Why we don't need 2 of those is like, we're going to do the business thing. And then all of a sudden there's another business podcast. So I was like, well, there's 2 of those now. So, you know, I think we have different takes on the same topic because our podcasts are kind of about the same thing, the business of real estate media.
totally. I think it's great that there's 2 options.
Yeah.
I really
well,
do.
and you know, there's some other ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meh.
Up and comers.
So,
Are there? I don't.
oh yeah,
No, I'm
we
kidding.
talk about it off.
Yeah,
off
we'll let you know,
air.
yeah.
Cut
Yeah.
that. Cut that.
Yeah.
Cut that.
Well, anyway.
I don't want to sound like it. You know what?
Yeah. Well, we don't edit our podcast, so there it's
Oh,
in there. All
wonderful.
right. Rachael Ann Adkins, thank you so much.
Thank you
I
for
really
having me.
appreciate you
This
coming
was
on.
fun.
And yeah, we'll do it. All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
Happy-
Rachael.
We're excited to hang out. Hey, let's talk for a second about Aereo. Aereo, our presenting sponsor, and also one of the largest sponsors of PMRE. It's been great to see the Aereo guys all around South Point the last few days. Lots of hugs, lots of embraces. I think everyone is very welcoming Aereo into the fold. I don't think the controversy that has surrounded Aereo this year is really even noticeable here at PMRE, which is great. And, you know, we know that Aereo is the best place to grow your real estate media business online. They got so much stuff. I mean, you know, what we love about Aereo is our client's experience. Not only does it make our back end stuff better, and more efficient and easier. But Aereo also is a great experience for our clients. They have their own login. They can download all their media whenever they want. It produces these awesome websites for our clients. Our clients actually now with the total white labeling of Aereo don't even know it's Aereo. And we get compliments all the time on our system and how easy it makes our realtors' jobs, or how much easier their jobs are very hard. We all know that. So Aereo, that's aereo.com, ARYEO.com. Go there, use the code Upmarket. You're going to get 15 free bonus listings. Oh my God, we love bonuses. We love listings. Listings are how we make money. And you get 15 free bonus listings. That's going to make you more money. Aereo. All right, next up, we got Julie Pistone-Krampitz out of Houston, Texas with TK Images. Julie, come on, action item. Give us one.
My action item is actually called, it's a book.
Oh, all right. Okay. Wow. Oh, that's a lot of work already.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
Customer Service Revolution.
Okay.
And I actually just attended the conference in October, read the book in the spring, and was so motivated by it that I researched to see, is there a conference? And there was in October. And it will change your business. I mean, it's incredible.
Okay.
And it really takes all the negative. You go into restrooms and you see signs that say employees must wash their hands. So it teaches you how to change all of that, because people are like, what? Why wouldn't they wash their hands?
Yeah, exactly. I want them to, I don't want to change that. I want them to wash their hands. Yeah.
So it's interesting when we went through all of our template emails and we saw, your photos will not be, instead of saying the negative, changing it into a positive, and really catering to the clients and setting yourself apart by your service, because many of us these days have the quality. We have the professionalism. What's going to set us apart? It's going to be the customer service.
Okay. And you've grown a pretty big team. So I heard rumors floating around the party that you have like 50 employees or something, which I think is a lot of our listeners, because our podcast is all about scaling your business. I mean, that's kind of what we're going after is, I don't know if everyone wants to get that big, but so is service the thing that has kind of helped you grow?
Absolutely. We started as a one-man show. And so today we do have over 40 team members. However, being at this conference, I am learning that I can be even bigger and have less team members.
Oh, okay.
Wait
that sounds like a whole
money.
That's an action item. We need to hear that.
I'm learning from so many.
Okay.
Alex next to me.
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, that brings us because we have another person in here. So we got Alex Aaron from Archipix in Delano, Minnesota. And I want an action item, but I also want to know about this. I want to how do we have less employees and more money and all that stuff? So
Streamlining.
Okay, so is that your action item too?
That's my action item. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I want to hear an example of that too, because that's a very kind of broad term, right?
Yep. I started my company 7 years ago, also as a one-man operation, and went through a process of having quite a few employees working for me. I had, we've got about 30, 35 photographers working for us. We're in 9 states.
Nice.
9 states.
9 states, yeah.
U.S. states.
Yes, yep.
Impressive.
And we had about 7 employees about a year and a half ago.
Oh, so you've almost,
and now we're down to 2.
Okay, well, hold on. So you have so you have the photographers, but you have 7 employees on the back end or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
operations side.
Correct. Yeah, so we had about 50 people on our team too at one point.
Okay,
at our peak.
So now you got 2 people doing the work of 7 people because you streamlined.
Yep, streamlining. Yep.
Was it because of AI?
No. I'm hoping that gets me down to 1.
Yeah. And let's be clear. I'm a few drinks in, so I'm gonna be saying a few things. But but you've streamlined it. Like, can you give like a concrete example of one thing that you've done?
Sure.
Because that to me feels like an action item. What's one thing you've done to streamline your business to fire 5 employees and deprive them of their livelihoods so that you can make more money for yourself?
Right. And that's the goal, right? That's what we want to do.
More for me, less for them.
Exactly. One of them was outsourcing my editing.
Yeah.
I took that out of house. And so,
that's big.
So I was paying quality control people.
Yeah.
I was paying a manager to run all that. And I was paying editors to sit around and do that. And, during the slow season, like there always is in the wintertime, things slow down, you're still paying all those people.
Yeah.
Year round.
Yeah.
That hurts.
So
yeah.
finding a company to do the editing for me was a game changer. For us.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we talk about that all the time. I mean, the outsourcing your editing. I mean, the two basic ones, and someone did an action item earlier. It was like basically hire an admin and outsource your editing. I mean, that's like 101 on how to scale a business in this industry. I mean, those are the two things that are going to transform.
Yep.
So you were able to, so basically then your you had post-production staff, and so you were able to trim those once you started outsourcing the editing. Yeah.
Out of necessity at first. And then once I did it, I was like, oh, I should have done this years ago.
Well, yeah, and it's just, you can't beat it, especially if you're your editors are in Southeast Asia or India or whatever. It's like you send them at the end of your day, and they work all day their day, and then they're in your inbox in the morning.
Exactly.
It's like, and we've found that so much is that quick turnaround, that having the photos ready by next morning is the differentiator for us in our market, and it's the one thing that we've seen that our clients want more than anything else. Is actually, it's not even the quality of images, is how fast can I get them? I mean, we need a baseline level of quality, right? But then it's how fast can you get those images here that that's the thing that people go nuts over.
Yeah. That's always the key. And in harmony with what she was saying with the customer service side of it, I'm able to spend my money on good customer service versus all the back end stuff that the customer never really sees.
Right.
That part of it. Where I was spending a lot of money on quality control, management and stuff like that for the people. Now my money's spent on customer service.
Right.
And so they get that. That's what's important. Our company motto is, our job is to make your job easier.
Right.
So real estate agents want to hear that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So your customer service is, it's what, coming from your admin people, the people that you have on the phone, on the interacting with your clients?
I've got two people, mom and dad.
Your mom and dad.
My mom and dad.
No kidding.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. So it's family operated.
And he's ready to get rid of one of them. He's just going to streamline and get rid of one of them. That's right. Sorry, mom and dad. Mom or dad.
Yeah.
They both retired a long time ago. They came back to work for me.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
And now
I don't know how sustainable that is, buddy. I got to tell you,
What's that?
Well, they're getting older. We got to lighten their load a little bit. Yeah.
It's true.
You got
Let them enjoy their golden years.
I've got nephews and nieces in the wing waiting.
Okay. That's perfect. Okay. So I do want to, we should wrap this up, but I do want to kind of say, you've done the thing where you're, I mean, and Julie, you are kind of local to Houston, right? So
Houston
everything
and Austin.
And Austin. Okay, well, that's the big geographic difference, even though it's the same state. But then, if you're in 9 states, I mean, what are you doing? Are you franchising? How did you break into 9 different states? That seems crazy. Couldn't you just dominate the whole Minnesota?
We do dominate Minnesota. We do really well in Minnesota, and we kind of just started spreading naturally from there. We went to Wisconsin next because there's a lot of crossover there.
Sure.
And then I actually decided to open up in Florida. That was the next place afterwards because,
of course,
starting in Minnesota and then the winter was so dead. I was like, well, maybe Florida will be different.
Right.
So I started in
You're
Florida.
You're basically the snowbird photographer.
Exactly. Yeah. I found out that Florida also is slow in the wintertime.
Oh, all right.
But in my driving back and forth to Florida, I would stop all the time. St. Louis is kind of the halfway point. So I'd stop in St. Louis all the time. And I was like, oh, maybe I should have some people here too, because I have to stop here anyway. So I started marketing in St. Louis, and that was kind of where I went from there.
But you marketed, and then did you already have someone in place to do those shoots for you?
No, I started marketing first.
And then what happened when you got to shoot?
Deliver? Yeah.
I hired somebody real fast.
Jeez.
Well, that's ballsy.
Yeah. The other key,
thing was Wednesday. Like, let me find someone real quick.
I streamlined my training process also.
Yeah, no shit.
So I put together a training program, so I don't have to be there anymore to train the photographers one-on-one. I have this platform I use that I can send to my photographers. They go through it and they're completely ready to go. It covers everything from beginning to end of how to do the job.
Wow. Can you send that to somebody else?
Yeah.
And so I'm happy to sell it to anybody who wants it.
Sell it. Hey, we put you on the freaking podcast,
It's
buddy.
true. I'll get you a real good deal.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Send us a redacted version at least. Come on.
Yeah. So that was like a big piece for me, was to have like solid training thing where I didn't have to invest my time and money to go to another state. I could drum up the work there and then hire the people to do it. And then they go through it, and within a week they're ready to get started.
That's pretty cool. You're not sending them gear. They're doing their own gear, their own stuff.
Everyone has their own gear.
Yeah.
We do offer, we require our photographers to be able to do everything. So Matterport, drones, video, stuff like that. If they don't have stuff, like if they need a drone or whatever, we'll provide it for them,
or a Matterport camera,
and then let them pay it off over time as they do the jobs. Kind of to help them out to get into it if they don't have one and they want to do that.
Right.
Sometimes they'll opt to go out and buy it on their own and just make that investment. But some people who get started, they don't have that capital to do it. So like we'll give you the drone, and then every time you do a drone job, we'll take a little bit from that until it's paid off.
Right. And then they keep the drone. Yeah, obviously.
Yep, and then it's theirs.
Yeah. All right.
Pretty interesting.
Well, thank you, both of you. I really appreciate it. All right. Cool. All right, Mark, we're ready for our next one. We got Tammy Dwight, who is the community manager at Cubicasa. Tammy, come on. Action item.
Hey, guys. Do one thing at a time.
Do one thing at a time.
Stop multitasking and do one thing at a time.
One time. That's a great, okay. I like that. But we have to wear all the hats though. We have to do all the stuff, right? But how are we going to put that in action? You know, like do one thing at a time. And what do you mean by that? So like I can't, schedule something and be editing photos. No, I don't do either of those things, but
Well,
back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
Are there certain tools that you use to help you when you're like feeling like overwhelmed or you're trying to like got 20 things on your plate? Like, how do I just focus on one thing?
I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that when you have 3 monitors open and 15 tabs open on each.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a disaster.
And your brain is like,
yes.
Yeah. I think we all fall
thing
victim
at a
to that.
time.
Do you, that happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing at a time.
Yeah. It's hard to do.
I think that's actually really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to give it like 3 minutes though. You have to be like, I'm going to do this one thing for like 3 minutes. And then, and then I got to move on to that next thing. Cause it is like,
absolutely true.
No, but I know, it's the whole thing. You're doing one thing, and I know like sometimes I have to like reconcile some stuff in QuickBooks or something, and I'm doing that, and then I see a text come in, and I'll go to that, and then all of a sudden you're doing 10 other things.
You
and
can't remember what you were doing before, right?
It's the worst.
That's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically it's a way of just finishing a task. Maybe it's like finishing a task and then moving on to the next task. And doing these micro tasks.
Yeah, actually crossing something off the list instead of like
that would
the
be
never-ending to-do list.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right. Thank you, Tammy, so much. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you,
I
guys.
appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate you.
All right. Okay. He's back.
Yes.
Oh, he was here. Gave a classic action item last year.
So
We're back
good.
for more. Adam Housley, CEO of Right Home Media. What do you got for us this year, buddy?
So this year, as we kind of close out the end of the year, everyone's kind of at the end. I think everyone should check their numbers.
No, I don't want to do that.
It's not just like not numbers in general, but just your profit loss. See where you're spending your money on. As listings are down across the whole United States, being able to be aware of where you could potentially be hemorrhaging money.
Yes.
And cut those expenses. See what better options there might be.
Yeah, we have done that a couple times this year. We're like, this hemorrhaging money thing, I'm not into that. So
we do that on the monthly with our bookkeeper and check in, and it's always eye opening for sure.
Yeah.
You think you know your business, but you really dive into those numbers.
Yeah. We do we don't know. Well, we get do we get a profit and loss monthly, or we can look at it anytime. We just have to go into QuickBooks, but we actually do a Zoom with our bookkeeper once every 3 months.
That's perfect.
And she goes over, and then she knows how to look at the numbers better than we are, and she's like, "Oh, your percentage is this, And this is a number I always tell my clients that we want to focus on, and it's a really great way to kind of identify, issues. And I remember it was Juliana was the one who really got on us about doing pay to download.
Yeah.
She's like, your accounts receivable is just out of control.
Just brutal. Yeah.
and for us, I mean, as we had grown our business, the accounts receivable was getting big, but because we had just done it one certain way, I'm like, well, that's just how business works.
Right.
And so, but literally looking at those profit and loss and cash flow statements and stuff, it was like, oh, you guys are not doing this correctly.
Absolutely. When you have bundles, it's so easy just to overlook a certain aspect of it.
Yeah.
And, just kind of break it down by product.
Yeah. So how often are you looking at your profit and loss and stuff?
We do it on a monthly basis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what have you seen this year that you've had to change? I mean, is there anything that stuck out to you where you felt like you were hemorrhaging money and you could switch it up?
I haven't seen anything big. What kind of catches you by surprise sometimes can be software subscriptions that you no longer use, or stuff like that. Just make sure you're staying on top of that kind of stuff.
Like how many Dropboxes are we paying for, and how many Adobe subscriptions do we have?
Do you have more employees, less employees? What are you paying for?
Yeah.
Kind of across the board.
Yeah. Well, and I know it's funny. Sometimes we look at the numbers and we're like, where can we cut? And you just look at the line item for editing and you're like, oh my God, it got so big. But then you have to sit back and you're like, well, wait, the bigger that number is, the better, because that means we're actually doing more business.
Yeah.
So
you keep it at a certain percentage, you're good, right?
Exactly. I try to look at it as a percentage of, service provided. So, break it down per appointment, exactly what you're doing.
So you break your numbers out per appointment. You're able to do that. So you're tracking your editing costs so you get an invoice from your editor and then you match it to each job.
We actually do editing in-house.
In-house?
That's me hitting my head. That's me hitting my head against the mic.
Yeah, it's a big undertaking.
Yeah, no shit.
But you should have pretty fixed editing costs if you're outsourcing.
Yeah.
Are you still delivering next day? Like you have a team that works at night, or how are you?
We're doing next day, yes.
Wow. Interesting. So you literally have people in Alabama that are editing?
How are you pulling that off?
We have some proprietary stuff kind of on our back end of our real estate photography company.
Wait, are you AI editing your stuff? What are you doing?
We have some stuff that we have been using for a couple years, and we're working on some new stuff right now.
I feel like Adam's being a little cagey here.
A little,
a lot. Looks all innocent over there, but then it's like he's coming in for the kill. Whatever. You're not going to say any of that stuff, but okay. We're going to investigate this, and we're going to get back to the listeners of Upmarket Pod. Adam Housley, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for coming in and giving us another great action item. All right, buddy. I feel like one of the themes of our podcast over this last year, and it's been a topic that we've talked about so much and a topic that's been on everyone's mind, floor plans.
Those dang floor plans.
Oh, man.
They're everywhere.
Everyone loves floor plans. And we know, our listeners know, Second Floor app is one of the best ways you can make floor plans. And you know what? Look at this. We have the CEO of Second Floor app with us right now, Adam Housley. You did an action item earlier, but here we are. We want you to talk a little bit in our ad for Second Floor about what new is going on with Second Floor.
Yeah, so we just relaunched a few new features. GLA square footage is probably the biggest, most requested one. And that's included for all the floor plans that you scan.
Nice.
So we can instantly get square footage for every single listing.
Instantly.
I
don't have to wait 12 hours.
Nope.
It's all instant. The whole thing that we've been talking about the whole time. You get right there. You give it instant,
and you can tweak it, right? If you want to remove the garage for whatever from the square footage, you just click on it. Boom.
Yeah, it's just like everything else. Everything is editable with the square footage as well. So you can get those numbers directly to your client while still on the site.
All right. And then what else?
We have a new day pass option. So if you don't want to sign up for an ongoing subscription, you just need it for a one-off project. You can just get a day pass and get 24 hours of scanning right then.
Oh, nice. Great. And then, so what is the deal? How are people going to find this? And, is there a discount code that you possibly have?
I think there's a discount code. It's called Upmarket.
Oh, I love that one. I love it. Upmarket.
Secondfloorapp.com/Upmarket will take you right there.
Yeah. And you get a free month, right?
Free month.
Oh, yeah. And then, and that is Second Floor app, all spelled out, SCCOND. FLR. You know how to spell floor. Everyone knows how to spell floor. But yeah, it's second spelled out, not the number, not 2ND. So secondfloorapp.com/upmarket. I think everyone wants to give it a try. Is there anything else? Is there anything else? I mean, it's been going great. I think you've had a great year.
Yeah, we just over the past year, we've had a ton of new updates, social media exporting, floor plan rotation, shared on social media. Lots of stuff.
Yeah, that's great. Because I know you launched at PMRE last year,
Correct.
and so you're kind of this baby company. Now you're a toddler. I mean, this is great, and it's been great to be along for the ride with you guys.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, thanks, Adam. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, Mark, look, and she's wearing an Ojai shirt. She bought this shirt in Ojai where I live. So here we go. We got Tessa Foster of Murphy's, California, and Sweetwater Photo. Tessa, hit us with the big one. I want a good action item.
Okay, it's not a hot take. Hi, everyone. But it's something good to remember. Be easy to work with.
Oh, there you go.
What you want agents to want to work with you.
Right.
And just make it easy for them. They, as much as we like to,
yeah.
Whatever.
Brag on agents and homeowners.
Exactly.
Agents are the worst people in the entire world.
Yes.
Except for homeowners, but yes.
They do have a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
They're really busy. They're dealing with the inspectors. They're dealing with their TC. They're dealing with all the things.
You're just one vendor on the list, right?
Exactly. Make it easy to work with.
Yeah. So do you have a specific advice for that?
I guess as much like we recently did some like interviews with our top clients, just kind of user interviews. That's a good one too.
That's really good now.
And just kind of like, what can we do to make it easier? The market's changing.
The changing market.
Like, how can we serve you better?
Yeah. And like, we do have competition. We're in a really small town, but we have competition.
Okay.
And we're not the cheapest, but a lot of the feedback was like, you're easy. I can text you, you'll fit me in, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So you have that flexibility, but also a good experience. And
and you can build so many packages, and our top clients don't do that. They don't book online. They text and say, can you fit this? And we just and Brian especially is just like, he knows these people and he's like, this is what they want. They don't even decide what package.
Yeah. You run the business with your husband, Brian.
Correct. Yeah. But he does a majority of it and does all the shooting, and he'll just know, okay, it's a 3-2. I know you want drones. I know you want a Zillow tour.
Right.
They're not booking and he's easy to work with.
Right.
So like we've gotten feedback that the main competitor is a really great guy. He takes forever on site and then he kind of just
prima donna a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard to work with. So be easy to work with and do the user kind of interviews and like touch base. Because what you think they want isn't necessarily what they want.
Yeah. You think they want the property website and the this and the that. And
they don't even use it. They don't really use it.
Yeah. They just want the photos.
They'd love for you to upload them to the MLS, but
we're working on that. Yeah. I mean, I think
but they want you to be able to text you.
Yeah.
And get them as quickly
of course. Yeah. I mean, and that's, and as we found, I mean, it kind of goes back to what we always talk about is as we've scaled, we've become easier to work with because we have someone who's fully dedicated to customer service, and it's not Mark or I. And so,
and we have more availability, right? We can fit people in.
We have more availability. And then when they are texting, as we talk about, we use open phone. And so like the text comes to Chelsea and to Mark and to me. And so one of us can always respond within, a set amount of time. And it's like, that is a good customer experience. So
keeps it simple and available. And it's just like,
and
it's a no-brainer.
That's kind of all they really care about. I mean, is that you're easy and you're delivering what they need
quickly.
And you quickly.
I think the number one thing they need is like quick.
Yes,
quick. But of course, it's always better when they have a good experience in all the other aspects too. I mean, no question.
And you don't. I mean, you do have to obviously not give away things for free,
right?
And be too agreeable, which is my thing, because I'm always like, of course you can do this. Of course,
not say yes to every single thing,
and you can't do that. But you also want to be known as, especially where we're a small town. You guys are a small town. Like you can't have a bad reputation.
No,
it's not an option. So you have to be easy to work with. You have to have a good reputation, and I guess just be easy, be agreeable to an extent, and talk to your clients. Like meet with them. Talk to them.
Do the survey.
And
that was great.
I guess
Thanks,
that's
Tessa.
it.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Next up, we got Shawn Beltran out of Denver, Colorado. Shawn, hit me with an action item, baby.
Action item. All right. PMRE 2023. So I'm taking a page out of the Conrad Hilton playbook.
Oh.
Conrad Hilton used to say, treat your guests like family and your family like guests. So my action item for us photographers is treat your clients like employees and treat your employees like your clients.
Okay.
Hire slow, fire fast.
All right.
Don't let the problems fester. When you see that red flag come up, have faith in yourself, trust your gut. Either let it go or find a good way to fix it where everybody's happy.
All right.
That's a good one.
Wow. All right. Okay.
Treat your employees like clients.
Right. And you're saying we should fire our clients if we see a red flag too.
That's a lot to think on, man. I'm going to ponder on that one.
It's meant to be deep, but treat your employees like clients, meaning, that level of, we want to make sure that they're happy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The loyalty comes when your employees, and I'm speaking to the choir here. You guys know how to take care of your employees.
We're talking to the audience.
But for people that are just starting to get into the hiring and scaling, taking care of your employees first is huge, and building a culture that they want to be part of. That's where the real value is.
Well, you want preaching to the choir, because you got to keep your employees. We just lost a couple employees, and so it sucks.
I wouldn't say lose.
We moved on from
you guys do the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing is it's so hard to, and it's so much cost and time involved in training employees, and so, it's really easy to then, well, I have so much invested in this person, and here's this red flag, and then I have to fire them. But I think sometimes it is, when you see the writing on the wall, it's just read it,
Correct. I've made my own mistakes. I was a corporate trainer and hiring manager for a while, and I've made my mistakes too. So sometimes you got to just own up to it, move on, and make the rest of the team happy, and get rid of the toxic energy fast.
All right.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. Good one. Okay. Now, also sitting in with us right now, we have David Frenette.
Yes.
Collab. What was it?
Collabart.
In Quebec, Canada. And then David, you'll remember, was here last year with his brand new business partner, Eve, who's not here, unfortunately. But David, hit us with your action item.
Yeah, it was a crazy year, but actually I got 2 action items.
Oh, 2. Okay.
Nice. Yeah,
right,
because Mark asked me to give...
Just give it to us. We don't need the backstory. Just give us the action items.
So the one that Yves want me to give you guys is give the client a custom package price if they agree to have it on every listing.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. The other one is hire an admin.
That's high on your list, I heard, right? Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to get tired.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Because you guys are growing and expanding your business and hiring shooters, but you need admin help bad, right?
And so, okay, so I think that first one, they're both great, but that first one, I mean, that like if you can, and effectively, we've done that with our big brokerage deal. Mm-hmm. It's like they get a much better price than anyone else, but they do photos and a video on every single shoot, and they pay it on the brokerage level. And so, they're going to get a better price. And, but every time we shoot for them, whether it's the crappiest place, we know it's going to be, X amount of dollars, and man, that's huge for us. But David, we did want to check in with you because if our listeners remember, you guys came in last year and Eve had messaged me right before the conference and saying, I've been listening to your podcast and actually we were really inspired, and my competitor and I, we decided to merge our businesses. And then like you guys barely even knew each other, and you flew out to Las Vegas together and you came to the conference, and then we sat down and you guys did action items. And so you were just getting your business together, merging it. How's it gone? We're a year later. What's the, are you hating us or are you loving us?
No, we're still loving you guys.
Okay.
It's been a crazy year, and we grew so much. We grew so much, actually. So it was crazy.
But and you think that it's been a positive that you've merged your business?
Oh, actually, it was super positive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And is your work-life balance better?
No, it's not.
Not yet.
That's why you need an admin.
Yeah. Are you two going to hire an admin?
We will actually, but we're looking to find someone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good.
You can always start part-time too. You don't have to jump in and start with the full-time thing.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. Because that's the hurdle that we just talked about, right? It's like, man, admins are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
And it's a scary jump to make that leap.
We need to find our Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really do.
Yeah. She's not interested in moving to Quebec, so sorry. She doesn't speak French, so I think we're,
But you guys do have an employee, right? You have a shooter.
Yeah, so we have one more shooter with us, but we still need an admin.
Yeah, well, that helps, but then that just creates more work on the, some more delivery, more photos. Yeah. All right.
Actually, we were just talking about the whole process of bringing on an admin in one of the workshops I was doing here this week. Mm-hmm. And the whole concept behind that was be prepared to spend twice as much time when you bring on that admin than what you spend on those tasks now, because you've got to teach them and train them.
Yeah.
But once you get there, man, that's gold.
Yeah, it doesn't save you time up front, but man, you got to get to that
it's a lot of
promised
time
land.
and expense up front, but once you get past it, I brought in an admin myself this year, and it was a game changer to not have to be the one sending out files every morning.
Yeah.
Even just that little bit, doing the QC and sending things out, such a great move this year.
So you're not going to send file tomorrow morning?
No, I didn't send files today either. We got several shoots going out while I'm here, and it's all taken care of.
I know. I do. We have 18 shoots this week, and I don't know anything about them. So it's great. So, all right. Well, thank you guys, gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks
really
for coming.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us on.
Fun.
All right, I think it's about time to wrap up our action items for this episode, but we're going to do 2 in this session. Look, we got a couple of the biggest dogs of the dogs in this conference here.
Some heavy hitters in the house.
We got, let's start it right now with Mike Lefebvre of Providence, Rhode Island, also the host of PMRE. Mike, I'm a little nervous about you out there hosting, but do you have, I know
that makes 2 of us.
Yeah. You're stressed right now because we haven't started the conference yet. And, but I think you've had a little mental space to come up with an action item for us. So lay it on us, buddy.
Okay. And this one might not work for everybody. If there's like high volume shooters, this won't make sense, but I'm not a high volume shooter. One thing that I do, and I think is a great idea, is after I shoot a listing for a realtor client, I will go back, a few days, a week later, and see if that listing is gone under agreement, just looking on the, on online. And if I see that it's gone under agreement, I'll shoot a quick email or a text or a call and say, hey, congrats. I saw 123 Main Street went under agreement. And they're always like, oh yeah, thanks so much. It was awesome. It was great. The pictures really helped. Just like letting them know that you're kind of like invested in their success as well.
Yeah. Nice.
It doesn't take a lot. You just, what did I shoot last week? Look it up. Oh, it's under agreement.
Well, yeah.
Quick call.
But if you are a higher volume shooter, that is something your admin can do.
Exactly.
And that's actually something even you could have a VA do. I mean, to be quite honest.
Probably,
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking, we're talking, the big dogs who have a lot of employees like us,
And it's something that we do like through social media.
Yeah.
Like if they're saying, oh, just listed, in escrow, just sold, then I'll reshare that and they'll, oh, thanks for sharing. And they'll, oh, thanks for the great photos. And it's a way to just keep that relationship. Right?
I always notice that in our stories that you're always like posting, all the just solds and it's great. I mean, and it gives us content too.
Yeah. And I also find that they always say, oh, the photos really helped.
Yes.
To have them reinforce that is nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you think that piece of shit would be under contract without your glorious photos?
Right.
No way.
Right.
No way. All right. Well, that's good. And we're looking forward to it, Mike. And thanks for coming up and doing this. So let's give way to the biggest dog, Brandon Cooper, who is the owner, director, creative person.
Somebody on the app said all hats.
All hats.
I think 3 different people made that their title. So I could probably claim that for conference.
All black hats, right?
All hats. All black hats.
All right. So Brandon, I'm looking forward to this year. It's the fifth year of the PMRE conference. And I think in those 5 years, you've probably had some time to come up with one great action item. Lay it on us, buddy.
I do. I have one, and I dug deep for this one.
Okay.
Come to PMRE 2024.
Oh, done deal. Well, and there's a little added bonus to this, because I think, look, we're all insiders here at PMRE in this room. So we're going to say, and this podcast is coming out after the conference. So we all know that there's a big announcement coming at the final moments of PMRE 2023. And Brandon, you want to tell us what that is for our listeners out there?
Yeah, there's actually 2 big announcements. Number 1, we are relocating to the Palms, Las Vegas.
Oh, man. Wow. Upgrade, baby.
I mean, honest to God, guys, this is 6 to 7 years in the works. This is 200 plus venues visited to find one that we thought sort of justified leaving our home at South Point that we've gotten familiar with. We've got this thing running like a clock. They're so good to us.
Yeah.
It's become familiar for our attendees. We weren't about to make a change just for the sake of. It had to be right.
Yeah.
And when I walked into this venue at the Palms, my wife had to literally grab me and shake me because she was like, stop it. Because I was just giving it away. I'm like, I'm in.
You're like a giddy home buyer, like, this
I'll
is the
sign
one, honey.
right now.
Well,
and she's like, Brandon, geez, like,
Well,
try a little harder to play a little harder to get.
Is that good, huh?
Yeah, and I saw the hype video last night, and whoo boy, this place looks amazing. And that hype video, that's going to be online, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we'll link to it in the show notes. So if you haven't seen it, you're going to want to watch this. You are going to be so pumped to go to PMRE 2024. It's the best 2-day conference in the real estate media world.
2-day conference.
Yeah, that's
2 days. Yeah. What are you talking? Yeah. 2 days.
Well, that's the second point I had to make.
Whoa.
We're adding an additional, so I got to be clear about this. We're adding a third day, but it's an optional third day.
Optional day.
So you can choose to come for 2 days. You can come for 2 days, bolt on the third day. Or you can attend just the third day if you want to. And the reason for that is because we're not taking our eye off the prize in terms of like what this event, the foundation of PMRE. We're focused on real estate. We have 2 days. The beautiful thing about adding the third day is then the first 2 days can be kind of unapologetically focused on real estate. The third day is going to be focused on sort of commercial and corporate. So we've got a lineup of absolute world-class ringers. We've got Emma Peter, who most of us are familiar with.
She's a fan favorite, yeah.
Fans love her. The audience loves her. She's delivered so well over the years. We've become very close, and she's just the best. We have a guy by the name of Chris Stacy, who might not be mainstream-wise a big name, but when you look up his body of work and you see what he's done, this is a cinematographer that is like my hope anyhow. I know for a fact because I've met him. I've seen his work. The real hardcore folks out there that are focused on video, he's a guy that they, I think, look up to and are inspired by his work. We have him locked down. And then one of the sort of biggest ones, and if I'm being completely honest, one of the most elusive guys in the industry, it was hard to even get him on the phone.
Okay.
Once we got him on the phone, we had about a 2-hour conversation. And the funny thing is we actually had that conversation while I was sitting in my hotel room at the Palms about to film the release video. And I was really hoping to have him locked down because I wanted to talk to our creative team to say, hey, this is the vision for the video. And then at the end, we want to announce these names. So 2-hour conversation, we got on the same page and he committed. And his name is Brandon Barry. He's based out of Toronto.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Mark. We got the for Mark.
He's a big deal. Yeah. He does his work is insane.
He does not do this stuff. He turns down everything because I won't go into all the details, but bottom line, he's, like I said, he's that guy that I've been after for years. Wow. And we've built a little bit of a relationship. He's locked in. He basically travels the world shooting the best resorts on planet Earth. Yeah. That's his life.
Well, okay, so we're going to move to the Palms, and the Palms. So is this going to be a little bigger venue, or are we kind of keeping the same? What are we doing?
So the beautiful thing about the Palms, we actually went down to book the Pearl Theater down there, and it seats 3,000 people. Obviously, massively overkill. Yeah, but they have these amazing ways of making it work for smaller crowds. After we looked at the Pearl, my event person that I had hired to find us a venue said, hey, I got one more space to show you. So we walked into this new space, and instantly I'm like, oh, she set me up. She knew that this was the space. So the beautiful thing about it is if we have 300 people, it works really, really well. We have the ability to scale up to 500 to 600 if we're so fortunate to get there. And then if we're even more fortunate to get to a point where we outgrow that space, we can cross the hallway back to Pearl and grow indefinitely. So we never, there's not really any reason for us to ever look for, this is as cliche as it sounds, this, in my opinion, could be our forever home for PMRE. Yeah. And just the opportunities for creativity, the meeting spaces that we have, there's movie theaters, there's incredible spaces throughout the entire property. We can kind of just, the sky's the limit. We've been fairly limited at South Point, right? We've been kind of, we're packed in there. There's no room. We could only do so much.
What about food, Brandon? How's the food?
Oh my gosh. It's so good. We went for Mexican the other night. We took a few of the folks, a couple sponsors to go check things out. We went for Mexican and it was just incredible, man.
Excellent.
Right. Well, yeah, I think that's going to be super, super exciting. And I think we all know, we've all attended previously PMRE, and it's such a awesome event, such a class event. And I can only imagine with that palette of what you guys are going to do with this. And I mean, I am pumped. I like a year from now, I'll be 1 year closer to death, but I think it'll be worth it just to be able to be at PMRE 2024. I cannot wait. And Brandon, already we've been here, we're recording this on Tuesday. Conference starts tomorrow, Wednesday. So we've been here for about 24 hours. And I think already it's been such a benefit for us to be here. And I think it is every year, because when you are here, it is obviously you guys put on such a great event, but it is about the relationships that are formed. I mean, I know we talk about this all the time, but just meeting down at the bar, just passing each other in the hallway, having those words, just getting the wisdom, being able to have people come on this podcast and share the stuff that has helped them build their business. I mean, what an asset to our industry, to our community. And, thank you so much for this. I know, you get benefits out of it too, but my God, I think as a whole, this conference, this whole world that you've created has really enhanced all of our lives, all of our businesses. So shout out to you, buddy. Thank you so much. You and Jody, and I know Jody does so much too. So
most of it.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. This was it's funny when Mike and I first met. It was
6 years ago?
More than that, I think. It was the first workshop that Tony and I ever did. And we did it in Canada, in British Columbia, at a winery that a friend of mine owns.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
Totally off the grid. No business doing it, if I'm being honest. But we had people come from all over, LA, New York. Mike rolls in. And then we were talking one night over a couple beers, and he said, how did you frame it? You said, PFRE.
So wouldn't it be great if we could take this experience of these, 12 people in this workshop, but just expand it to a whole conference, like a bigger
industry-wide.
thing.
Yeah.
And Brandon's like, that's so weird that you say that. Guess what I'm working on?
No,
and a lot of people who talk a lot of shit and don't do anything about it. This guy followed through.
Yeah,
and
here we all
happen.
He brought it up, and I was dying because I'm like, oh, that's such validation for this idea that everybody else that I've talked to about thinks is crazy. Everybody loves the workshops, getting to connect with like-minded people in a room where you can drop your guard and share information and not feel like you're going to get stabbed in the back when you walk out. Imagine if we could do that for the whole industry and bring everybody together. And I said to him, as soon as he brought it up, I'm like, hey, I already bought the domain.
I checked the domain. It was already purchased by this guy.
Hilarious. And then fast forward, and so that's why it's so fitting too for Mike to be here for year 5. It's our 5th year. It's our last year at South Point. He was literally the first person that ever knew that this idea was even a thought.
Yeah.
And then
great.
Here we are, fast forward 5 years. It's pretty cool. It's very special for us.
Yeah. Is it just me, or you seem more relaxed this year? I know Reed is because he's not presenting. He's
Reed
Mr.
said
Chill.
that to me last night, and I'm like, I think it's the opposite. I think I'm so wound up that I'm in a different frame of mind. We were just joking that my wife gets mad at me because I'm too open. She's like, you got to hold your cards a little closer, man. You're sharing everything. I'm like, listen, I would have missed out on so much opportunity if I wasn't as open as I am. Way more than I'll get burned by keeping it to myself. So we had a couple chuckles, and I said, yeah, I'm just going to have to invent a new alter ego. So Vegas Brandon is a little different than Canadian Brandon.
I got you.
But all in the good, obviously in good spirit. And I'm just trying to come at things. I know, again, this sounds so cheesy, but I've been so stressed out. And because we've essentially been planning and paying for 2 events at the same time, which you can only imagine what that feels like, especially in a sluggish year, market-wise. I'm used to shooting 1,000 homes a year. I probably shot 650 this year. It's a big, it's a big thing.
Significant, yeah.
But, my wife, it's so funny because yesterday morning, she actually drew a diagram on a napkin for me, and because that's the way she operates. And she gave me this amazing advice. And she's like, listen, man, just come at it from a perspective of gratitude. You're going to be stressed.
There's an action item right there.
There you go. Yeah. That's a perfect action item. Come to PMRE 2024, but also just come at things in general from a place of gratitude. The minute you do that, the stress starts to melt away. When you see people that are coming to the conference, instead of being worried about, oh my gosh, are they taken care of? Do we have everything in line? It's more just grateful that they're here and that you have an opportunity to connect with each other. And then it just makes things a little bit easier. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, that's a great capper. And I will say, Mark and I, once again, we are so grateful that we were able to be here. And we are so grateful to our listeners I mean, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And already we've had enough people coming up to us and be like, "Oh man, we listened to the pod. That one you did was so helpful. That was it." And as cliche as it sounds, it really does, make it all worth it because it's a big effort for us doing this podcast.
Well, it's one thing to get a message, but to meet the person, shake their hand, and to get it face to face is meaningful.
It's super gratifying. So we're gratified. So we're feeling energized, right now, and so we're going to do a ton more podcasts. We're gonna do, and I think. We got a handshake deal to kind of keep this going with PMRE. So I think we're going to do a ton of Road to PMRE 2024 episodes. And so I think it's going to be an exciting year. Thank you everyone for listening. And we're going to be back with a lot more content. We're going to get back on the horse. So we got more episodes coming.
Let's get at it.
Thank you everybody. Thank you, Mike, Brandon. Thank you everyone.
Thank
you guys.
All right. Upmarket is a production of Upmarket Studios. This episode was produced by Chelsea Froelich and edited by Bethany Deidrich. Thank you so much for listening, and we really hope you listen to the next one too. In the meantime, our wish for you is to not have to shoot any Friday night Twilight shoots. Thank you for everything.